Okay, this is the next project called Heroes Around Me. This project, this is a student example of what Heroes Around Me means to them. And what you're going to do is create a poster that explains that idea, that question of what does that statement mean to you? Who is a hero that is around you? Like your parents, your mom, your big brother, volunteer, public servants, military, hospital workers, anybody like that. So this is a nice example. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go back to Canvas here, and I'm just showing you. We have to do section 4 and section 5, right? Before Christmas break. And this is the poster you're creating. Okay. I'll click on that. So this is the video. The requirement says the requirements are the document has to be 11 by 17. It can be portrait or landscape. You have to delete the background of any images you use. We'll talk about it more in a little bit when we go to Photoshop. And you can use either the text or this image right here, this image saying Heroes Around Me. Okay. I'm going to use this image here. I'm going to actually use this drive in a minute, but I'm going to show you some. These are previous examples. All these are actually previous examples. So they chose some text here, and they chose the police officers risking lives, all kind of things. And you can see this person really looks up to Taylor Swift, so they created a poster about her. Or this person actually created another. Like I said, they can be landscape here, so wider, yeah. And they create a poster here, or this one actually just of. So all these different things, like these two cars are two layers, the text, the girl, her hat, this heroes around me. Those are all different layers there. So you can see there are 5 different layers. So we're gonna go back to this assignment here. Okay. And so when you're turned in, it has to be 11 by 17, portrait or landscape, and it has to have 5 different layers. That's what's over here. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is actually download this. Actually, first I'm going to go to Photoshop and create a new document. So you're going to go to Photoshop CC 2019. And I'm going to create a new document. So we're going to use the print preset. We're going to change this to 11 by 17. I'm going to stay with the portrait, but of course you can use landscape as well too. Portrait or landscape. Change the title to Heroes Around Me. And the background has to scroll down a little bit, and it should be transparent. So you can click on create here. That basically just gives us the checkered pattern means it's transparent. Okay. And so what I'm going to do now is go back to Canvas, and I'm going to click on this link here so I can download the Heroes Around Me, this Heroes Around Me kind of image. I'm not going to use the text, but I'm going to use the image here. So we're going to download that. I'm going to go back to Photoshop and show you how to insert that. So this will be our first layer. I'm going to click File, Place Embedded. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what that was. So Photoshop, File, Place Embedded. And I'm going to grab my Heroes Around Me JPEG and just put in my downloads. That's right in my downloads here. So I click Heroes Around Me and click Place. And it's real small. I'm going to resize it a little bit and move it up here. And then hit the check mark to make those changes there. Okay, so now what I talked about before, we're going to actually delete any backgrounds on any images we use. So to start with, it looks like the quick selection tool, but we need to grab the magic wand tool. It selects colors basically. And this background is all color, all white. Sorry. So grab the magic wand tool. Sorry, we need to actually right click on this and rasterize the layer so we can make this edit. So click on the white area, and all I'm going to do is hit the backspace key. Okay. And now I can Alt and scroll the wheel on my mouse to zoom in. There's a little bit more. There's like a little bit E here, the white, and delete that. And as well, under the R, delete that, hit the backspace key. And, backspace. And now I'm actually going to deselect that. Now I'm using Alt and scroll the wheel on the mouse to zoom out. Okay. So that's how to delete out the background. Oh, we need to actually, I would just hit the eraser. This is the eraser tool, and just erase out this little portion right there. Okay. So I've got this. Now I'm going to actually, we need 5 different layers. So what I'm going to do is to show you how to insert an image that has a color background with like a colorful, some kind of background with colors on it. They need to use a quick selection tool and a background with one color where you can use the magic wand tool. So grab just create a new, and we're going to call it, so police officer here. And click on images here. And let's see. Oh yeah, so use this guy right here. So we're gonna actually click save image as. It's got saved image as, save downloads here. Now I'm gonna go back to Photoshop and I will click file and place embedded. Okay, I go to downloads here, I select this top guy. That's the image I view. And that's about the right size. So I'm gonna click on that check mark. Now this one I need to grab the quick selection tool. Clicking all the way down, quick selection tool. Now click on my add to my selection. If I need to make my selection a little bigger, I can. And what I'm gonna do is hold down the Alt key and scroll, because zooming in is gonna make it a lot easier to see what I need to see. Alt and scroll in. And then I just need to scroll and click and drag over all of this guy here. His badge here, his head. And so it is a little better job of actually selecting everything. So I can let go of my mouse and I need to select maybe this badge here. Yeah. And the police officer, maybe shoulder here. I've got it selected and a little bit here. Okay. And that looks good. Now I can actually hit all this Alt and scroll out. Okay. Now I hit the select and mask here. It's default to actually using this on layers here. I can use black and white to make sure I have everything selected. Now I missed a little bit here, so I'll choose cancel here. Now I'm gonna scroll back in, and I'll actually I've still had that add to my selection here, and now I can scroll back out and select the mask again, and go back to black and white. Black and white is really good to make sure you have everything selected. That's good. Have everything selected there. Now I can choose back to on layers to see it real well. And now if I change my feather, the feather is actually just the line that's really kind of jagged and sharp. So I can make that softer by bringing it up here. You can see that's getting softer, the edge there, and I bring it back down. So it's about right here. I just need to make that sharp edge a little softer, okay? So now I can change that to layer mask. We don't need to do layer, so just the layer mask, and click OK. And this is called a non-destructive edit. On the certification test, it talks about destructive and non-destructive edits. This is non-destructive because this image is still here. We just masked and deleted, we hidden portion of the image there. So this is called a non-destructive edit. So you can see there's a strong line here at the bottom of this image here. So it wouldn't make sense for him to be, visually, it wouldn't make sense for him to be floating out in the middle of the screen here. So I'm going to place him on the bottom edge of my poster here. If his arm was cut off, like if his arm was cut off, like about here, then I would place him kind of like about this. But it's not, so I can place it out here. I can place it there if I want to, but I like this, so you place it on here. Now I'm actually going to show you with a solid background. So that's, where is this? See if I find a white background image. Yeah, this guy. He's a little animated right now, but yeah, we'll go ahead and use him. So right click and save the image as, and save to downloads here as a JPEG. So I click save, go back to Photoshop. Now I click file and place embedded here. And I'll click on the officer, click place. That's about the right size. I click on the check mark. And what I'm going to do is actually go to the Magic Wand tool. I need to rasterize a layer. So rasterize a layer so I can make that change and delete out the background here. So I click on just the white area, and that selects everything else, but I need to actually select, I'm going to actually zoom in a little bit more and choose I'm going to actually, in conjunction with, now it's selected, I can change that now to a quick selection. It's got my add to my selection, scroll in a little bit. Now I need to actually make my selection size a little smaller, and I'm going to actually select it just inside of his arms here. And I'm going to select this part here. So to make that a little smaller. So I got this. Click and drag here. Okay. Now I need to go back, and there's the bottom here needs to be selected. The inside of his legs there. And I need to select this part right here. Yep, that looks good. I'm going to select this right here. Okay. Now I need to make out, Alt, scroll out, have everything selected. Now just hit the backspace key. It deletes everything else, and now hit the select and deselect. Okay. So this guy doesn't have anything cut off, so he can actually be placed anywhere you want to. So I've got my 3 different layers here. A total of 5 is required on this project here. So you do the same thing to create 5 layers. Okay. So after I've got everything done, let's say I have 5 layers, I click File, and I'm going to click Save As. You have to turn in a JPEG image, so click on the Save As type and change it down to JPEG. If you turn in a Photoshop, I will make you turn in a JPEG. I will have you do it, save it again. Okay, and click on JPEG here. Okay, and you click Save. Okay. Then after you do that, what you're going to do is to go back to Canvas. Now you're going to turn that in, okay? After you've done that, you're going to go back to modules. Now what you're going to do is do a written statement explaining what you did, okay? So you're going to do a written statement now explaining your project and kind of a written explanation of who is a hero around you. So I'm going to show you that for a minute. So this is actually just a written statement here. And it says written statement of how your project is answering the question. Your heroes around me. Does your project deal with who inspires you, who you look up to, who is a hero to you, those kind of things. So you're just going to write a 50+ word statement there. If you want to know how many words you have so far, so highlight the number of words. You click on Tools, and you click on Word Count, and you can see there's total of 47 words, but I have 37 words highlighted. Okay, and that's how you're going to do it. Okay, and that will finish this assignment.